Hi everybody, my name is Roni Habib. I'm the founder of EQ Schools, and in this video I'm going to give you a bunch of strategies and tips to support the well-being and emotional intelligence of your children at home, as well as tips to help your well-being. And I think that one of the most important things to remember first is that relationships are the number one predictor of well-being. And we can experience a boost in resilience and happiness and wellness when we experience something called emotional resonance with the people that we love the most. Emotional resonance, in terms of brain function, means that people's emotional brains are in sync in a positive way. Now, Daniel Goleman coined that term, and he found that the fastest way for people to experience emotional resonance is through laughter. And one of the fastest ways to do that is to play with one another. Now, I know that in these challenging times, it's difficult to even imagine how eliciting ourselves with positive emotions can help. But there's a lot of research to show that eliciting ourselves with positive emotions help us be more creative, more resilient, more collaborative with others, more willing to learn new things. And so in effect, what we're doing when we intentionally engage in activities that allow us to experience more joy with one another is that we're not only allowing ourselves and our kids to feel better, we also basically prime them to be more ready to deal with the adversity that they're facing now, help us deal with that adversity, but also prime them to want to learn more things and be more ready to learn in general, since now we need to basically teach them at home. So one of the best games that I can think of, and I train teachers on and parents as well, is this game called the mirror game. And basically what you do is you would stand in front of your child, and one of you would take the leadership role, and the person who's following would need to basically mirror the actions that the leader is doing. And so the leader moves slowly and the follower follows the leader, and then you switch, and maybe about after 20 seconds, and now the leader becomes the follower, and then you might switch again. And then at some point, you might even both decide to try to lead together and follow together. It's a little counterintuitive, but it's a lot of fun and it works really well. And what that does is it teaches kids social flexibility and also attunement to you. And then it helps you also attune to them. There are many, many of these games. If you want to check out more of them, go to eqschools.com/videos. The next strategy and tip that I recommend is to have eye contact with your children. To remember to really connect with them, even for a split second, and to lock eyes, especially when they wake up, especially during lunch or dinner, and definitely before they go to sleep. Basically, when you lock eye with them, you're sending them a message: I see you, I care about you, I'm taking a moment to slow myself down enough and show you that as your adult, as your person, I'm noticing you. And more than anything, what people really want is to feel seen, to know that someone is there looking after them. The next thing you could do is you can acknowledge your children. Acknowledging basically means noticing something about someone and naming it. And it can be very simple. For example, with my 9-year-old son, if he puts his dish in the dishwasher after dinner, to me that's like a big moment, and I and I acknowledge him by basically saying, "Hey, I'm so deeply grateful that you're putting that in without me even asking, you put that in the dishwasher and helped us keep the house clean. Thank you so much." Acknowledging them for basically pro-social behavior, right? For maybe supporting their siblings or being kind to their siblings, just catching them being good and naming it. Makes a massive difference towards the connection with them, because again, they know you see them and they feel acknowledged, they feel loved. The next thing is expressing unconditional love. That most kids don't hear their parents say that enough to them, and most kids know that their parents love them, but a lot of times they think the love is conditional based on their success. So like if they do well in school, then the parents are happy and they acknowledge them and everything, but maybe the parents don't express enough love. On a daily basis, especially during these difficult times of challenge, it's really powerful to simply say, "Hey, you know what? I love you no matter what, and I'm here for you no matter what." The next tip is to sit with their difficult emotions without needing to fix them. And that's a very important piece. So a lot of times as parents, we want to take away the pain that our children feel. And it's very, very easy for us to want to fix their problem right away. The vast majority of the time, what makes something better for children and for adults is not necessarily to get a quick fix, but to feel a connection with the person. Then you're going to hold space for them to help them understand that any emotion that arises for them is valid, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, whether it's shame, whatever it is, that you're there for them. Not all behavior is valid or okay. For example, you can't hit your sister, but you can be angry at your sister, and I get it. And I'm going to sit with that with you, helping you move through this emotion that you're feeling. So another thing that's really powerful is to regulate yourself and to be more aware of what's happening for you on these difficult days. And so even just once a day, taking your hand, putting it on your stomach, taking a deep breath in. Believe it or not, even doing that just once a day makes a significant impact, because number one, it reminds you of what a healthy breath feels like. A healthy breath comes from the belly, not the chest. And it also reminds you that you have a body, that you're not always in your head in the past or in the future. Now, when you take a moment to slow down, you'll gain more awareness of what's happening for you, and then it will help you self-regulate. One of the things that really helps with regulation is to take a deep breath in and to slow your exhalation. So as you breathe out, you slow the exhalation down, and what that does is it actually calms our nervous system and helps us down-regulate. And you can even teach this to your kids. So you can take a deep breath in, hold for 4 seconds, and then breathe out to the count of 8. So much longer out breath. Then you can do it again. You could do it 4 or 5 times, and it just helps our system regulate. I also recommend you seek support from your partner, and you regulate your partner as well. Because if you're lucky enough to be in a partnership, if your kids see you helping one another, that will actually calm their nervous system as well. And it will just make things a lot easier. Remember that your unit, your partnership is the base of the well-being of your family. And so make sure to invest in that as well. Another practice I recommend is that you have a gratitude circle at dinner or at lunch when you sit with your family. And basically, each person goes around and shares who or what they might be grateful for today. And just share a little bit why and how that fills them up with joy. What's special about that person or about that thing that they're grateful for. It makes a massive difference. Gratitude is shown to raise our base level of happiness quite significantly when we do it regularly. So every single day, even if you may perhaps even in the morning, have your kids journal about 3 things they feel grateful for. Another thing you could do is engage in a practice called Rose, Thorn, and Bud. And what that is at the dinner table, each person can share about their rose, a good thing that happened to them today, their thorn, which is basically something maybe that's been kind of hard or difficult for them today, and then Bud, something that they look forward to. Makes a big difference in our family, and I know that it's been helping a lot of other families as well. Last 2 things, remember that your kids do not need 6 hours of schoolwork every day when they're at home, because they learn a lot more efficiently when they're at home with you. When they learn one-on-one with you, they're not in a classroom with 30 other kids who learn at a different pace. That you're taking them at their own specific exact pace, and they learn more efficiently. They really need more, like, especially if it's elementary school, more like at most 2 hours, maybe 2.5. High school, it could be 4 or 5 hours, but it does not need to be more than that for them to stay on track. For most students, the majority of the students. Lastly, I would recommend that you have a schedule for your kids. A schedule really helps them, and they know what's coming next, and it actually helps them again calm and be even more resilient in this time of uncertainty, because it gives them less to worry about. They know what's coming next. So I hope these tips and strategies were helpful. I'm going to add to the end of the video lengthier explanation of how to play the mirror game. We have a lot more resources at eqschools.com. Again, if you go to eqschools.com/videos, you're going to see more. You can also check out our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're well out there, and I hope this was helpful. Take good care. Leaders, stop. Go. Remember, don't move too fast. Whatever you want. The mirror dancing game. Place participants in pairs and tell them to face each other and have enough space between them so they can clearly see each other's face and body. About a meter or so, or a few feet. Have them imagine that they are each other's mirror. And at your signal, have one student, student A, start by leading. Student B will then mirror all of their movements and really emphasize to person A to go slowly, to not go too fast, and to be empathic to the fact that person B is trying to follow them. Then after about 30 seconds, say switch and have person B be the leader and person A mirror them. Then keep going, but keep the time intervals shorter and shorter. All right, now we're going to start switching faster, so switch! So then you can switch back and forth a few times with shorter amounts of times in between. And eventually, tell them to share the leadership. Tell them both people are leading and both people are following. And just see what happens. It's amazing because intellectually, some people will say, well, how could that happen? We can't both be following and we can't both be leading. And yet it could very well happen for them when they're actually in it, or actually playing it.
I can't tell who's leading.
Nice. Very good. Good job. After they've done that, go ahead and play a slow, soothing song and have them do the same exercise to that song. So again, for about 30 seconds, partner A can lead, and then you can say switch, partner B takes over, switch for 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. And then after they do it through a soothing song, you can then play an upbeat song and still remind them to move not too fast and to actually mirror one another. Super fun, kids love it, and it really brings the energy level up in the classroom.